you put three? Oh, you haven't got there. Oh, okay, you just put. I would usually the same, but because it just looks familiar to me.
I never found it.
There we go. All right, guys, let's take a look. Oh, geez. Yeah, I think the top two and the bottom right. Yay! All right, guys, let's take a look. We got Ecuador. We go to drink. So what kind of sampling method did they use?
Stratified.
Yes. They definitely broke it down into groups, 3 groups. The entire population fits in those groups. And they picked some from each group. All right, so that is completely stratified. Some from all.
Wait, so quick question, is this how like the test is gonna, or the quiz is gonna be based off of this? Like,
The
kinda-
quiz will be very similar to this.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's just like what we learned. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Does the quiz usually want you explaining how you got those answers?
Yes. In fact, you see how where it said why, and I even made it bold and all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever I say why, that's almost the most important part of the question. Right? So if you leave that blank, you'll lose at least half the points for that problem. Up here on the first one, I didn't ask why, so you can get away with it. Identify the sample and the population. And I say this because I always have somebody just give me a definition. I never want that. What is the population?
All people in.
Say again?
Type of wine drinking.
No?
All people who do and don't drink wine?
All people in Ecuador.
Yes. All people in Ecuador. I like the all people who do and don't drink wine. That's everybody. But then that's too many people, right? There's no way that I had the whole world and I randomly picked people in Ecuador. So it must be all. Anybody from Ecuador? No? Is it Ecuadorians? We'll just be careful. Say all people in Ecuador. Even the babies, because the babies hopefully would be here. What about, what's the sample? There's a few different ways you can say this.
141 people in Ecuador?
Yeah. One way to say it is 141 randomly selected people from Ecuador. Or you could say a subgroup, but I would rather you be more specific if the problem is more specific. Right? So 141 randomly selected Ecuadorians. Holy mackerel. More cheese. This just doesn't, this is so weird. This doesn't want to fit. I can't zoom out. There it goes. If the researchers find the percentage of stomach cancer occurrences in their sample was 3%, is that a statistic or a parameter?
Statistic.
I hear statistic. Any parameters? Okay, good. Because the answer is statistic. Why is it a statistic?
It says in their sample.
Good. I always hear somebody say sample because it's a percentage. What? A parameter could be a percentage also. It only cares about what group it's referring to. Referring to the sample. Therefore, it's a statistic. I like it. All right, number 2 gets a little evil, part B. But part A, has anyone been to the DMV recently? Or at all? No? It's like you're playing bingo. You get a little bingo number. H47. I get B6. They call B5. And then they call G27. A48. And I'm like, I'm sort of next. So that's how it works in the DMV. But who put the answer down for part A? What's that?
I did ordinal.
We got an ordinal?
Interval, but can an ordinal even be a number?
Yes, it can be. Totally.
Oh, it can, okay.
Yeah. But you said interval.
Yeah.
Stick with it. You said ordinal. Stick with it. Anything else?
Ratio.
Ratio is a little stretch.
But I love the effort.
All right, good. All right. So I would accept either one, and it really depends on how you explain it. Ordinal is very obviously what this really is meant for, because it's supposed to keep people in order. But why did you say interval?
I said that just because it contained a number, and I know from what it sounds like, ordinal is more of a qualitative than quantitative.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. That's what you're worried about.
Yeah.
All right. The reason I would be semi-okay with you is because they put us into like B, C, D, G, whatever groups. But within that group, I can tell how far away I am. If I have B6 and they just call B3, then I'm 3 away in the group B by subtracting, right? Or if you've got, I'm sitting next to somebody, I can compare my number and say, oh, you're 2 ahead of me by subtracting. Does that make sense? So I would accept interval if you explain that in your Y, and I would accept ordinal, obviously, because that's the main reason. Now, if it was a number in a deli or something, it would be even more, I would accept either one, but it would be even more like interval would make a little more sense then. I like it. Why does ratio not really make sense? Sorry, buddy.
It's just, it doesn't make sense if you divide it. It doesn't give you any meaningful data if you do division.
Yeah, and 0 doesn't really make sense because it's like nothing's. I could see somebody arguing for it. I could see that. So I would welcome that argument. But this one I would accept ordinal for sure. Keeps people in order. Or I would accept interval. You can subtract within a group. To see how far back you are. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. But you see, in my explanation, I'm actually using part of the definition to show why it qualifies, right? Part B is a little evil. Who had something for part B? Anybody?
Nominal.
Say again?
I said nominal. but
Nominal?
I don't, there was a lot of like weird, I don't know, like,
I gotcha.
wacky with that answer.
Yes?
Ratio because you can divide it.
Okay, divide what?
Divide the percentages and get
Gotcha.
decimals.
So here's how to do this kind of problem. And I'm going to do exactly this kind of problem, not exactly that problem. On a test. What was it I was asking people or looking at as I was making the list that led me to this? What was I looking at? I'm looking in the room. What am I writing down?
Hair color.
Hair colors. That is my data. What level of measurement is that?
Nominal.
No. I like it. The numbers, I understand. Isn't that tricky? Ooh, it's tricky. Aren't you happy that wasn't a quiz we just did?
Yeah.
All right. And now you're ready for when I do that to you on the actual quiz. No?
No.
So these kind of questions, what level of measurement, sometimes I'm even nice and I say identify the variable because that's what you think. What am I asking to get to this point? That is how you identify the level of measurement. So I wasn't asking the percentages, I was asking hair color. Can't like it? Maybe. Oh, let me write that down. No. Names of hair color. Chlor gel? Yeah, sure. All right. That's English adjacent is what I'm writing. So 3 discrete continuous. This is another one where it's a little tricky because I'm going to give you a number, but you don't look at the number. Discrete or continuous is what it could be. So fish weighed 2 kilograms.
Continuous.
Totally continuous. Because what could it be actually?
Anything.
1.987, blah, 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 blah. Right?
Yeah.
We're humans. We don't normally talk to each other like that, so we'll just say about 2. And of course, it's a fish. I'm going to round up just to embellish my story. Right? So maybe it was 1.51. All right, I know.
That was 1.51. I was like, yeah, a club control fish over
Yeah, there you go. Just round way up. That's how it works. Every fisherman knows that. So this would be, yeah, continuous. Now, how do you explain that?
I said fish are not restricted to weighing a certain amount of kilograms. Any number is a reasonable answer.
Okay.
I had something
Fish
though.
can weigh any weight.
Yeah, that's what I said recently.
Like
the same.
So then I would be a dork, because I am, and I would say like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I'd be like,
Yeah, yeah. But so you gotta capture the fact that it could take anything between two values. Right? So the least it can weigh is close to 0, and the most it can weigh is whatever, and it can take on any value in between. So I would even accept something like this. It could weigh 1.98274 ... Right? Kilograms. You got to capture the fact that decimal notation, as many places as it wants to be, will always make sense still. I can get more and more decimals by just having more and more precise measurements. In my head, I just see these scientists who went and caught a fish, and they're just getting, we need a better scale. Let's go to the other guy. We need a better scale. I want the 80th decimal place. Okay, that's just me. I understand. What about part B?
Discrete.
Yeah, because now what are you asking people? You're going house to house because you're a weirdo and you're saying, how many TVs you got in there, right? And like, I got two. Okay. So does anyone concerned about 2.3? Who's got 2.3 TVs in this? Anybody?
How do you
Does anyone have 2.3
What
TVs?
do you mean?
How do you have?
Huh?
How do you get?
I know exactly. What does that mean? It's a TV 30% of the time, and then 70% of the time, it's a pineapple. It's the weirdest thing. I don't know what that 0.3 would mean. So why is that okay? Why should we not be freaked out about that? Because if I talk to 10 people, and they had a total of 23 freaking TVs, what would the average be? 2.3. So of course the average could be anything, because I'm dividing to get it. Shit. So when they say the average house has 2.5 kids, and you're like, I don't want to go to the house because I don't know what that means. Is a kid half kid and half porcupine? What does that mean? Is this Island of Dr. Moreau stuff? I don't know. I love it. My references are just for me. So this is definitely discrete. You can only have a whole number of TVs. Now, this answer doesn't mean that discrete has to be a whole number. Remember we talked about the half a door? Do you guys remember that?
Yeah. The truck door.
The truck door is half a door? Yeah. But in this instance, that's the easiest way to quickly explain. It's only can take on a certain set number of values, whole numbers. And then real quick, for A, every 20th
Systematic.
engine, that's a quick one.
Systematic.
Systematic, I like it. And to explain that, all you have to say is every n.
Huh? Thanks.
All right. And now somebody else tell me, what about 4B? Let's see, so they divided it into subplots, so it's got to be either stratified or cluster. Plants are selected from each subplot. So some from each. Stratified. I like it. Strat. Some. Geez. Some from each. Okay, I like it. I like it. Definitions behind this. I like it. I like it. So, last thing. Yes, so I'm going to let you out truly early today. We're going to do one little preview of something, and then we're all going to get this shit out of here a little early. Can you turn my lights back on? Thanks, man. Sort of based on this. What would you guys think about this? Let's see.
Move your camera over a little bit.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
What is this gonna be, Jeff? I don't know. You always go for ages. Screw that. Weights of moving boxes. Okay. That's exciting. Oh, Jesus. All right, what's over? Well, I should do this. Hold on. I'll do it. Okay, that'll, okay. All right, let's go. Let me just ask this question. How many classes do you think are up here? How many classes? I know you don't even know what that word means necessarily. It's not class, obviously. How many classes are represented up there?
4? Question mark?
No? One of them is empty.
6.
5.
5. Yep.
1, 2, 3, empty, 5. Right. So there's 5 classes. I like it. How heavy are the boxes in this class? This being the only country in the face of the earth that uses pounds. How heavy are the boxes in this class? Say again?
20.
Are they between 11 and 16?
There it is, between 11 and 16. I have no idea if any of them are 11. I have no idea if any of them is 17. I have no idea. They're just somewhere between 11 and 16. What is the class width? 5 classes. What's the class width?
4.
So 5 classes. Can you see one class? Just pick one class out to yourself. How wide is it? 5, yeah. Class width is 5. I like it. You guys, all right. So what I've done is I'm asking you questions that I haven't even explained what the hell they are, because I am evil. You should know that about me. But again, you're not being great. Who gives a shit? But I just want to show you, you can intuit some of this. So these are the classes. What percentage of the boxes are between 11 and 16 pounds? Yeah, 20%, right? 20%, right? Okay. Let's see, what else I want to ask? Oh, I don't know. And of course, here's what I was talking about earlier. See how there's no gaps between here? The only gap indicates an empty class. So there were no moving boxes that were from 26 to 31 pounds. Right? Okay, I like it. So what we're going to do next is we're going to learn how to create this just from a given set of data. Right? So if I gave you the list of moving box weights, we're going to construct this. So we got to figure out how many classes we want to use, how wide each class is going to be, right? And then we can figure out how much data is in there. So if there were 100 data points, how many boxes were between 31 and 36 pounds? If there were 100 total boxes,
Probably around like 15 to 17.
what percentage are from 31 to 36?
15.
Oh, I see, because I can't draw
Yeah.
straight. I see.
Oh, 10.
Of course, you can double check. I try to make it has the equal to be 100, of course, right?
Yeah.
So that's just me being too close to this. Okay. So 10% of 100, 10 boxes. I like it. So it's not your fault. I just can't draw. All right, that was equal. All right, guys. Let's call it early today. Anybody upset about that? You guys gonna rally and say, this guy's not giving my morning's work? All right. So I will see you